Test, test.
Okay, everyone, I'm told we are open for business, so let's get started. Don't forget to silence your phones. Or if you don't, at least have a pleasant ringtone for us. We'll begin like we always do, invocation and pledge. If you wish to join, please rise.
Bow with me. Father God, we come to you with thankful hearts today. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are we live?
Thank you both.
Are we live?
Madam Clerk, when you're ready, a roll call, please.
Bell,
Here.
Kern,
Here.
Freeling, Harrison, Hinkleman, Ott, Pitchford, Tyler, here, Borath, Yarborough, Elliott.
No, here.
Here.
You have 11 present and 1 absent.
Thank you. The minutes from last week need to be approved. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Pitchford, is there support? Supported by Volrath. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, have we communications?
We had 2 communications. One was an email from a resident concerning juror compensation received on 4/9, and an email from MSU Extension for a legislator update event that's being held today, and that was received via email 4/9 as well.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
comment on communications. I found merit in that, I'm sorry, I found merit in that communication about the juror compensation. And I think it's something that should be further dialogued about, but one man's opinion, but I did find, like I said, I found merit in that communication. And so if it's something that this group wants to take up at some point in time, I would be appreciative of that, so.
Excuse me, but let's have a little volume, please.
Ma'am,
Just talking about the jurors, also, as the former county clerk, the Board of Canvassers are paid that same rate, and they may be working there for 7 days or late and into the weekends, and that needs to be reviewed also.
okay. Admin committee, you want to add that to your list of things to do?
Sure, be happy to.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is still the case, but some years ago, and I don't know about Board of Canvassers, but I know about the jury compensation. We were operating under the statute that provided for livery fees. That's how old it was, meaning if you rode your horse to the courthouse because you had jury duty, the county would pay to board and feed your horse while you were serving on jury duty. I don't know that anyone ever tried that to see if we really were up to that task. But if the law is still 1912 or whatever, under the revised statutes annotated, might be worth taking a look again. So, yeah. Now we'd need a charging station. But anyway, okay, so very good, thank you. Public comments about resolutions. Doesn't look like we have any, so we'll go to the consent calendar. It is voluminous. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as submitted? Moved by Freeling, supported by Harrison. Comments?
Mr. Chair, I believe we have a resolution that we would like to have added to the consent calendar.
Really?
Next.
Sorry,
next week.
just brought to my
He said
attention.
Next week. He said.
Okay,
She said do it
well-
next week. No,
Oh,
next
we
week.
can do it next week. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, then we won't need to amend the agenda. So we'll go forward with the motion made by Freeling, and who seconded? Harrison seconded, to approve the 3 resolutions on the consent calendar. Any discussion? Need a roll call for this one, Madam Clerk.
Curran,
Yes.
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Pittsford,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Volrath,
Yes.
Yarborough,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
and Elliott.
Yes, thank you. We'll flip to the back side of the agenda. Madam Clerk, Finance, are you ready, or do you want to
Yes.
pass?
Oh, I'll pass. I'm
Okay,
still getting things. in-
all right, then we'll go to Personnel and Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met this morning. We had a number of items on our agenda. First was the approval of the monthly pension refunds and rollovers. Those were approved. We have 4 resolutions that will surface in your agenda coming up. First was the renewal of the EAP contract. The second was we updated the policy on military leave, as well as we updated the policy on processing of employees. And then we also have continued our ongoing discussion about the use of information technology resources. We had both Chris Swihart and Thaddeus Hackworth with us as we continued our discussion on that. So we did pass on that, and we will be presenting that to you for your next meeting for consideration. And that basically concluded our items of discussion.
Questions for PHS? Let's go to admin, then we'll circle back to finance.
Okay, thank you, Matt. First in to see us this morning was the sheriff, and Dave O'Rath would like to report out on that.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Chuck and Greg, our sheriff and undersheriff, for
meeting with us this morning, a week later than normal, but they had vacations and things which had to push off their meeting with us. There was 1,406 calls for service, which is equal to about 45 a day. We have a couple of long-term employees who are leaving, and we'd like to show them our appreciation. Deputy Jason Long has been with us 25 years, is retiring. Captain Randy Miller, 25 years also, and he's retiring, as is Lori Layflex, who's been the inmate accounting specialist, and she's been there 28 years. And they're gonna have a hard time replacing those folks, but we wish them well in the future. A big issue now, right now, we've got staff leaving, and Barb Johnson, who's been the head of food service for a while, 20-some years, and she's going to leave, and you're gonna see resolution from us. Chuck is wanting to go privately with the food service, and it's something that they're looking at now and that we're looking at, and I think it's probably a good time for it. I've been through that in the school system, changing from our employees to food service companies, and it always worked well. And it's been worked well for a long time. So the company they're suggesting is Canteen, who's been around for many, many, many years. So there's one of several, but that's who they're suggesting, and that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Let's see, next in to see us was Mark Heiliger from our road department. He provided us updates, and the Coloma Road Bridge is open, which made Commissioner Volrath happy.
6 minutes faster.
That's it. Right now, they're doing some cold patching, but everybody knows cold patching is not as effective as hot patching. But apparently they're opening the asphalt plants, and hopefully next week, they can start doing hot patch, which is much more effective. After Mark was Don Trail, and Don provided us with the spreadsheet again, as we have had in the past. Basically, this spreadsheet outlines for us which projects are completed and how much we spent on that, how many are in progress and how much we've spent on that, and how many are out to bid, and estimates how much we're gonna spend on that. And then there's also a page of all those projects that have been put on hold. Really, the bottom line is there's not enough money to go around. You know, we appropriated, or we set aside 15 million to do all this. And I can tell you that if you remember, we prioritized these 1 through 5. 1 were the most critical, life safety, those type of things. We have accomplished that. We have gotten by all those projects. So the things that were on our list of real high priority items have been done. The ones that are put on hold are, I don't know, is cosmetic the right word, Brian? So they're not gonna be done at this time, partly because we have other needs. And the most pressing need right now that we need out of the remaining funds, which is roughly 7.6 million. That's what we have left over out of the 15. We need to set aside 3.5 million of that for the juvenile center. Brian has talked to us numerous times about the hospital and the juvenile center are on companion water and sewer. And we need to separate that and get the juvenile center on its own water and sewer and make it independent. Plus Don this morning also brought us a couple of other, which could be in their case out there, life safety issues, the fire suppression system, the alarm system, some other things that impact our employees. And so we kind of gave Brian and Don the go ahead to make sure that that gets done out at the juvenile center. So that eats up 3.5 of the 7.6. So that leaves us roughly 2.5, which we may either start working on this, or we have other projects that Brian identified for us where he may need that 2.5 million. So we'll see where it goes. But for right now, it's just money we have left over to either be used elsewhere, or we will continue to whittle away at the list. So it was good to hear from Don. I think things are going well, like from his perspective. After Don, Brian in the chair was in to see us, and Annette was in to see us. Annette talked about the IT policy that everybody got. That if they're gonna move forward on it next week, so if you have anything, make sure you get it to, I assume you, Bob, get it to PHS or get it to Annette. So we can get that process moving and approve it next week. And then Brian brought us up to speed on the DNR's involvement in the dock. That because of the ice storms up north, that may have diverted some of their resources. And so, again, we are waiting on the Michigan DNR, not us. We do have a couple of resolutions for you the next time we get together. Resolution ending in 190. This is for the sheriff's department. The sheriff was up to see finance and obtained a waiver from you folks. Then he came to us about the canteen services and in the food service in the jail. That had to be done. It was time sensitive, and so that's why it did not follow the normal process, and that's why the waiver was granted, and we were perfectly fine with that. Resolution ending in 195. This is to thank and acknowledge Brad Pete of Pete and Sons, who donated a 3-foot tall concrete fire hydrant to the animal control building. So we thank them for that donation, and that is our report.
Well, I'd like that if I were a dog. Any questions for admin? Okay, Madam Chair of Finance.
Thank you very much. Our administrator, Jessette, was in to talk with us. Our chairman was also in to talk with us. And Administrator Jessette presented Chris Sweetheart to us to talk to us about security for the IS department. There are a lot of things that are out there, and he's been looking for a number of years and has found a system that he's very much interested in. Also, Administrator Jessette presented the Drain Commissioner McManus to talk to us for a bit about Tanner Creek. Then our treasurer, Shelley White, gave us an update. She has a number of local financial institutions where she puts some of our money. And she's been handling the local banks, and each year we try to spread our money around to all the local banks. And this year, she's happy to report that we have made $2,340,000 on investment. And then we have a company that does wider and bigger things, and it's called Meter Public Funds. And there is a gentleman that works with us. His name is Mike Kloak. I hope I've said it right. And he's interested in coming and talking to us because in May, it will be 1 year. And so the Finance Committee asks if you would make an appointment for him to come and talk to the Finance Committee and wherever else you want to happen. But it would be good to have a visit. But she also presented from them a projected income schedule. So we have a number of sheets and our money is doing well. Another thing that Shelley White, our treasurer, does, and it's almost here, is she's been working on it all the time, our tax foreclosures. And she's given us a great sheet that has the number of in different categories that are in foreclosure. And what has happened when we go to the computer and put these up for sale, we have 134 properties that will be in the tax sale because she's done all the things that she can do for people to go into payment plans or for people to pay up or whatever to happen. When we started this year, 2024, there were 1,676 parcels. And we ended up with 134 that are going into the sale. I'm trying to see what else. The tax sale will start on the computer in August 27th. And then probably the second sale will be October or November. We're going to continue with the computer that has worked so well and probably cut down on needing employees, paying people, renting a building and all. It's working well. Let me see what else. Pipestone Lake, all kinds of things have been done so that we could get that done. And there was ice up in northern Michigan. And so what has had to happen, the people from, where are they from?
From the MDNR.
MDNR, have to stop working on it, and they will be back as soon as possible. But they're clearing ice, and you've been seeing that on the TV at the bridge and all of that. And so they will be back and hopefully have it done as soon as possible. And the sheriff, as you said, came in case we had questions or to reemphasize how important it is that we get this contract going with a canteen. And he's done a lot of research and found that he knows that we've been working with Canteen Company for 20 years with our commissary, but he also knows how they're doing with Van Buren County, Cass County, and LaPorte.
Yes.
I think.
County,
LaPorte, good, Indiana, with the full meals and all, that they're able to do it, and that they will use our kitchen and all the things there. And they said that it's a fine kitchen and very, very good condition. So those are the things. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you.
Questions for finance? Okay, then we'll segue to commissioner reports, go clockwise.
Report.
The only thing I have to report on is I attended the MAC legislative conference this week with Commissioner Volrath and Commissioner Tyler. We had a good time. I am preparing a write-up to share with the board everything that I took away from the conference. We touched on a few critical issues to counties, the revenue sharing being a huge priority for both chambers of the legislature, along with other things such as how federal policies are impacting counties and the state of Michigan as a whole, juvenile vetting, road funding, just a bunch of things that I will share in my write-up with the full board. That was a good conference, and I appreciate being able to go as a representative of this county. And that's my report.
No report.
Again, I went to the MAC conference, and just a couple of things. MAC, which is the Michigan Association of Counties, has launched a new revised website, and it went live on April 8th. And everything from this conference, you should find those PowerPoint slides. And they said it'll probably take 10 more days to upgrade, and you can find all your information there. So just be aware. And I'm not sure if they changed the name of that website to capital MI lowercase counties.org, because I used to type it differently. So they've got a different website naming on that. The other thing, as Commissioner Bell noted, what I want to kind of touch on is two items. What they talked about was the CONCON, and the CONCON is about changing the Constitution. And the Michigan Constitution was changed in 1963. But right now, as we have Axe the Tax, which was another presentation by Dykeman, and looking at the changes, and people are very concerned about their taxes. In 2010, they had 67% of the voters in Michigan reject that. And what the cost would be to the state of Michigan would be $4 million to do that. They would have to match up about 148 delegates. It would run as an election on from a February primary to a May election. And they would match it up according to the state and Senate seats. They talked about the cost of that. What concerns me also is that you've got Michigan acts the tax. And I don't think a lot of people understand it. What it basically says, real and personal property. So if you had a ballot proposal for certain taxes and items like that, that would all be null and voided. It'd be gone. You would not be able to collect on your delinquent taxes. There's the concern of fees being a tax instead of just a fee. The interpretation would probably be led up to the courts. But the one thing, certain items what are in there, there's a small percentage for public safety, but there are other constitutional mandates which are not included, like elections. It would be unfunded. And it's going to give you very limited ways in making this happen. If this will go, they're going to put it on the ballot. And if they go on the ballot, it would be on the November 3rd ballot of 2026. It would go into effect December 18th, 2026. So you're going to have all those lost revenues if this goes and certain programs we have. So it's something to keep your eyes open to. So if Axe the Tax is approved and you got the con, then I don't know how one would remove the other one. So it'll be something to really watch. I see positives, but it really concerns me when mandated functions of a county or local unit of government are not within that proposal. And I think it should be a big concern to everybody, especially within public safety. It was a very good workshop, great networking. The other concern, which I see, and I talked to our administrator, VA grants had a shortfall. They have $3 million in shortfall, and the legislators are working to find a way to present those grants for this year. And then I'll let Ballrath continue with that story when it comes around to him.
I don't have a commissioner's report, but I should mention the resolution that I thought we were gonna do today, that will be coming before you next week, because we do the consent before we do our committees. Resolution ending in 194, it's to apply to the MIDC for funding for the public defender's office. So you'll see that next time we get together. That's my report.
Attended the MET conference Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week with the commissioners, Bell and Sharon. The con thing is not a can, but they do this every 16 years. And I guess the concern is every time they've done it, the voters have voted it down, but it's going down every year this has happened, it's going down quite a bit, the number of people who are voting against it. So it is something to be concerned about and look at. And some of these people out there that you think are crazy are getting things done. So just be aware of that. It was a great week. They had everything at the hotel. We didn't have to go over to the Lansing Center, which is a lot less walking. So you're just coming down to the floor, second floor, and everything was right there. Dinner, lunch, breakfast. Instead of breaking up into groups and selecting which one, which thing you're gonna go look at, or, you're gonna sit through. Everything was presented to everybody. So everybody got all the information. Everything is in here. It was a really good conference. I was really impressed. Just happy with all the pods were very interesting, and I think of very, important. So go ahead and look at these and just read through them. There was a lot of good information. We had a round table with a couple of senators and legislators. A couple of them were willing to share more information than others were, But it was a good conference and well attended and very happy with it. So that's my report.
I want to announce that Commissioner Ballrath, Commissioner Bell, and Commissioner Werfel received their advanced certificate award from MAC, also at the conference.
So we had a sewer and appeals board meeting yesterday, and there were a couple of things that were brought up, which is, I had never given thought to. The overload on septic systems when homes are designed for 2-bedroom, and each bedroom is designed to have 2 people in each bedroom. But now you have these Airbnbs and they're allowed to have, I think, up to, 4 for each bedroom. And where the authority lies for either the health department or local municipalities to go in there and say, look, you can't do this, you're destroying the septic systems. Not a big deal when it's city water or sewer, but, and I got to see Thaddeus control a meeting pretty well yesterday with some folks. And for people listening, the sewer appeals board never wants to say no. There's always a workaround to try to get your home built. So I know there's some issues going on with one they're working out. So that was it.
I attended the meeting of the Human Services Council, Lincoln Township Board meeting, also a public hearing on putting in housing or apartment complex on the old Snowflake property. And then a reminder to everyone that there is one Michigan-based university that is still competing for a national championship, unlike the other 2 big ones that lost in the tournament. So the Western Michigan plays this evening at 5 o'clock. It'll be on ESPN, one of their channels. And then the finals would be on Saturday, also on ESPN.
Yeah.
That concludes my report.
Go Broncos. Yeah. Just briefly, Tuesday, we had a county planning commission meeting. The commission considered text amendment for Niles Township as it related to their adult use marijuana establishments in that district corridor that they've established in their general business between Fulkerson and the state line to allow for those establishments to be permitted there with special land use. We also reviewed the master plan for Baroda Township. We had some committee report updates. We had some public comments related to solar and renewable energy and coordination at the county level for those efforts as it relates to some of the municipalities trying to just unify the idea of land use. And so we may have more public comment on that coming up. But those were my duties for this week, and that's my report.
I have no report.
Okay, thank you all.
Just quickly, a milestone was achieved that I think that a former member of the board would be particularly thrilled to note. So the IT or IS department has reported that as of last week, the mainframe is now unplugged. It is done. So Ezra, if you're out there listening, it's finally achieved. Both the jail and the mainframe projects are in the rear view.
Okay. General public comments are now received. If you have anything, come up to the microphone, name and town, if you wish to opine.
I can, yes.
Thank you. Where would you like me, right here?
You go right there, yeah.
All right, thanks. Peter Clovis, 3190 Eman Road. That's the great state of Hager. I'm here to give you a small update from Hager, also a concern and a tidbit from the MTA conference that I attended as well. I come to you as a Hager Township planner. I am on the planning commission, a former trustee, a grower, a farmland owner, and a former farm hand, a member of the special black ops team that took out and facilitated the removal of the former drain commissioner that thrilled us all. And then finally, by the way, we'll remain nameless for obvious reasons, but I want to make sure that we all understand that there's a pressing issue with the township that is specifically or a countywide issue. And a countywide issue is a preservation of farmland. We have processes in place, and we have conservation for farmland as well. But what I'm saying is I specifically am dialing in to the commissioners that you guys step up and have this conversation. You engage and you think about the impact of what happens if we lose our farmland and our green space in that industry. So specifically, I'm speaking about PA 233, the impact of that, and those projects that do not fall under PA 233. I'm sure that may have been brought up at MAC as well. Specifically, the problem is I would like to see some leadership and guidance from the county that specifically involves, number one, a strategy. Number two, that we have alignment. We bring especially townships together, that we have some sort of thought process that coalesces around this issue of what do we do when we get invaded by solar farms. The last thing is I would like to see that we have some sample ordinances and some standardization of documentation that we can put out there, that we can unify what's going on relative to the strategy. And the last thing is, it'd be really nice to have a database of ordinances relative to solar. But really, if we could, listen, this is going to be a big one, but codify all ordinances across all munis and have it searchable. It'd be really nice to be able to then have an economic development strategy and other things like in the master plan that are tied to that database. Nevertheless, if we don't get our arms around solar, it is every single township, every single green space is targeted in southern Michigan.
2 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Anyhow, I appreciate it. I would like somebody to tell me which committee I should go to bring this up.
Thank you, Mr. Clovis.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am. Name and town, name and town.
Wow, that was a good presentation. Nothing that important. We just wanted the Browns wanted to just come this morning. We don't get to come and listen and to get tuned in.
We need your name and your
I
local
love
unit.
that. I'm famous. I just thought you knew me, right? Sharon Brown. Sharon Brown. I'm at 250 Orchard Lane in Benton Harbor Township. And again, this morning, we just wanted to come and our intentions for this year, now that those two beautiful monuments are in place, is to get nosy and see where else we can fit in and get something else done. And so that's why we're here. We want to listen to see where you all are as far as our county goes and see if there's somewhere a need where we can participate and be effective. That's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to be heard? Yes, sir.
Walter Hager. What's going on with the stream?
It is streaming, sir.
We're working. It's working.
It is? I don't see anything. Okay, now some of you, I still can't hear you. I'm sitting over there and I'm yelling at you. You know, you're talking to this guy over there, you know, like you're sitting in the bar, you know, like when I'm sitting at the bar and talking to my friend at the bar stool or right next to her. But remember, there are people sitting over here too, so we got to hear you too, okay? So try to remember that. Now, I got a question about the price of eggs. I know they doubled the price, but in Michigan, you must have passed a law or something. I didn't hear anything about it. It's range-free eggs, range-free. So there goes the price, right? And then you have all this, these birds dying. So there goes to more price. Now, somebody was saying something about the ESPN, the Western Michigan playing tonight?
Yes.
5 o'clock? Who they playing? Who?
Who they've already beaten. They've already beat them twice.
It's on TV, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pelzer. Yes, sir.
I believe the range-free egg law was passed in 2019 and people had 5 years to get ready for it.
Right. Microphone. Cage free. Yeah. Yeah, they're wild and free roaming chickens now, like the federal law about the Mustang horses. Except hard to get eggs from those Mustang horses. Yeah. Okay, anyone else have anything they'd like to share? We will move to other business. Anyone?
Mac, just a reminder, there is a BC Bit meeting today at 12:30 that can be attended in person or online. So that's today at 12:30 and we're upstairs in the Ken Wenzel Conference Room.
Tomorrow's,
In here.
Buffalo, is it the luncheon tomorrow, CEO? Buffalo, it's tomorrow, right?
Yep,
Are you going?
I'm not, I've got to be at Tanner Creek.
Okay, that's right.
Today at 12:30.
12:30. Here?
Yeah,
Can anyone attend the CEO tomorrow? Is anyone available?
I want to go.
Okay,
I'm planning on-
whoever wants to go.
Buffalo Township.
I badmouthed Michelle for not coming to Coloma a couple weeks ago, so I probably have to.
Okay, all right. We'll be reminding everyone next week, we're closed for Good Friday, next Friday. I think we're good now.